Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Ruchi Chandravanshi, and you're watching me on DigiHunt with a handsome hunk. You have watched him on Aarya as Sangram Singh. Hello, Ankur Bhatia. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are
How
you?
are you spending your time during the quarantine and the lockdown we have been facing?
I've been enjoying my time here. I've been on road for last few months before this COVID
Yeah.
thing happened because I was shooting for Aarya, then I was shooting for a series
Hmm.
for Voot, and before that I was doing a show in New York and a movie
Oh,
in New York, and so it was just I was constantly on the plane and packing in one place to another. So I was just glad that I got to stay home for uh, um, straight for 4 or 5 months now. So I've done a lot of pending tasks. I've finished them. I had some books that I had to finish reading. I've done that. I've done my painting. I've been spending time with my kid. So it's good. I've been utilizing the time, and now it's getting to a point where I want to go out and start
everybody
working.
wants to just go out and scream that, okay, now we need the freedom.
Yeah, it's tough.
So I just want to ask you, Ankur, that given that you have an educational background in maths and everything that you've done, what pulled you towards acting? Like you started with the short films, right? So what was the one thing that was like, I just want to do acting and I want to, take part in short movies or also do mainstream movies?
Yeah. See, so it started off as a little hobby that I wanted to try because I was like, I was doing the same job that most of the people do, and a regular life, a sustainable income, steady paycheck, and everything. And it started getting at some point, I think in New York when I was working, it started getting boring for me, and and that's when I realized that I wanted to do this for a long, long time, and I've never done it, and so I ventured into like kind of
Okay.
like exploring
Hmm.
part time. And that's how short films happen because short films it's no pay and they're not
Hmm.
looking for like working actors, and so it's a good medium to learn. So I started like that, and once I got into it, I realized that there is so much to learn, and it was very challenging. And so suddenly I had this new wave of excitement in my life to do something
Okay.
which I don't know. And usually when you are studying into like computer science or mathematics, or there's a point in time when you realize that okay, now I've learned, or I know the stuff
Yeah.
what I'm doing. With acting, it's a constant learning thing. So the more you learn, the less it is. Then you face something. So it's just a constant driving factor, and that just really worked for me. And I was like, I started getting more serious into it. First, I was doing part time, then I left
Hmm.
my job, and I started taking it more seriously. Then I figured that okay, it's not this easy. So I went back again to school part time to study. Then I
You
took
did
some
the acting
classes.
classes and
Then I
all,
did
right?
another
You
project.
took the acting classes in New York.
Later on, so first I was, वो जब कुछ नहीं मालूम होता, so you're
Yeah.
overconfident. So I got into it with that thing that oh मैं तो लंबा हूँ, तो अच्छा दिखता हूँ, I know acting. Then I realized that no, I don't know it. So then I went to New York Film Academy part time to learn some acting. Then I realized that वो part time से for जो लोग 4 4 5 5 साल पढ़ते हैं, वो मैं 3 हफ्ते में पढ़ के खत्म नहीं कर सकता. So I had two coaches here who I would only go out when I had audition calls, I would prepare my scenes with
Mm-hmm.
them. And then, I realized, okay, the point of time I am in, I should do more and more independent cinema and short films because I was learning more on the job while
Oh.
shooting and while playing some character. That really worked out for me. And in general, also, I know that I'm a very good observer, and I learn on the job when it's like right there. I'm thrown into that circumstances. I'm good at it. So that's how I learned. I did Zanjeer. I learned. I acted with Ram Charan Teja and Prakash Raj and Sanjay Dutt. So I captured certain things from all of them, and I utilized them in Sarabjit. And Sarabjit, there was Randeep Huda. Aishwarya Rai and Richa Chadda, and also I captured some stuff from there.
Mhm.
And it has always kept growing.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And eventually everything kind of exploded in Arya.
so like the first short movie that was actually produced by Meera Nair, right? So that I have read about. And what was your experience like when you first entered the set and you did a very short movie? That too back in I think 2012 or 13 that you did that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so like when you walked onto the set and you were like, okay, now I have to put myself out there and act. What did Ankur thought at that particular moment that this is what I have to do?
So, that was also very, when I'll tell you something, when they say luck by chance, it's exactly, like that, how it sometimes work, and it baffles you
Yeah.
how this whole industry and this work stream is. So I've done a lot of short films before that have never come out.
Oh.
And then one fine day I get a call from for this movie where they were almost beginning to shoot. Then in I think the next 2 or 3 days, I got a call for audition, and they called me the first. It was a 9 a.m. call
Oh.
in New York, and I was like, okay. And I was kind of like
Hmm.
very new, so I went there, and I realized that you know I did my lines in English and everything, and I realized that this is not going to happen. This is the first time I actually told them that I want to do my lines in
Oh.
Hindi because the guy is from India in the movie. So he's like, okay, then do it in Hindi or whatever you want to do. So I did that, and immediately I knew I have gotten the part. So they told me that Abhay Deol was supposed to do this part because he's very good friends with the director,
Hmm.
and that he was supposed to come
Yeah.
from India, but due to some issues he was not able to come, and that's why they were looking for this
Hmm.
urgent part to be casted. I got that part on a whim that because and then later on someone told me that they called me early in the morning because they were like, okay, we have to audition 10 people, you know. So the director wasn't even present there at
Oh.
that point of time when they
Why
auditioned.
why were
She came a
doing that?
little late. Yeah, so but then when she saw the audition, and so I could see in her eyes that she has found Bunty, and my character's name was
Yeah.
Bunty, and she was very because the script was
Hmm.
very close to her. Now, it was not produced by Meera Nair. What happened was she used to work for Meera Nair, and she was Meera Nair's assistant for a couple of years. So Meera had helped her put together the film or something like that, and that's how it
Hmm.
came. But the producer was Pooja Kohli, who had produced Delhi
Yeah,
Crime
yeah, yeah.
recently. Yeah, so she was the one who produced it. So they both actually finalized me. We did the film. That film actually went to 30
Yeah.
film festivals or so. And yeah, and that time I used to work at
Hmm.
Wall Street. But in one of the festivals, this one lady asked in during a Q&A that is that guy a real pickup van driver or he's an actor?
Oh.
And then they invited me to the stage and all. And
Yeah.
that those smaller things actually made me compel me to actually quit my job and go into it full time because that was one big hurdle in life to get kind of like away from uh, a steady paycheck
Yeah.
is yeah, but that's how it started. And coming back to your question, the first day I entered on the set, when you don't know too much, you're very confident. So it was like that. So I had all the confidence in the world at that time, and that's how. And luckily, that character was also like that. That he was like a overconfident pickup van driver, like just happy-go-lucky. And I just kind of that whole ride was so smooth. I didn't feel like I'm
Oh,
acting.
so it was like a natural thing that came to you. Ki, okay, like this is what we have
Yes,
to do. So, like
yes,
currently, like the last web series that you did was Aarya with Sushmita Sen, and there you played a very aggressive role. Like you were all over the place, and you were
yeah.
trying to, take the particular business. So, what did you do to prepare for that aggressive role? Like it does not naturally comes out there, but you have to prepare for such roles. So, what did you do for that?
See, when I was preparing for that role, actually, so I was the last one to be casted for the series. So I was in New York and I got casted, and then I came to Bombay. So by the time I'd come, I had prepared a little, and I had prepared it in a very negative way. Like, okay, that he's a bad guy. Right from if you read on the script level, Sangram seems to be like this guy who's like menacing and always conniving, and he's the bad guy and he's a villain. I sat with my director Vinod Rawat, who's one of the directors in Aarya, and he was coaching me for it. And he asked me this one question: "Is like, do you really think Sangram is a bad guy?"
Oh.
That actually did wonders for me because then I started. he's like, technically you're not a bad guy. And then it made me think, and I started making points and started thinking in that direction where I'm not a bad guy.
Okay.
All the stuff that I'm
Hmm.
doing is for my family. I'm dividing the 300 crores in equal part.
Yeah.
I'm uplifting the
Hmm.
family. It's all about, yeah, obviously. And the thing that you're in a business, you're doing bad stuff, but you're still not the first in
Yeah.
that. So his whole um, objective in the series is to
Yeah.
rise and uplift, and so I started taking it that way. I didn't want to project. I had decided not to project Sangram in any bad light. I just wanted to play it as, every bad guy is good in someone's book. So I played it that way.
Hmm.
That, okay, whatever I'm doing, I'm right. I mean, technically, it was not me who was ratting the information to cops. It was someone
Someone
else,
else.
So
But
it
you
was
still were,
from my,
yeah. Hmm. You were still
yeah. So I played
doing.
it from the heart, like how I utilized whatever qualities I am. I'm an emotional guy, so I utilized that part. And then small bits and pieces I took from people from my college who were very aggressive, who would, like, वो एक होता था ना जिसको जो कभी नहीं मारेगा
That,
आपको, सबसे
yeah.
ज्यादा उचकेगा. So I taken something from there.
Hmm.
And but Sangram had the quality कि वो मार भी देगा,
Huh.
even
Like just fight it off.
but
Yeah. So
if you see in the series, I have actually not raised my hand on anyone.
you were attacked, but not the other way around. Yeah.
No, yeah. So it was, but he's a strong damn guy because he was attacked brutally in the
Yeah.
jail. वो, but still he's up and running. Yeah, चलता है ये
Like
तो होता है.
this is just a
So
normal
ऐसे,
thing. Like, yeah.
so so this particular project, the fun part was I took these bits of experiences that I've had in my life with
Mm-hmm.
people who really stood out. वो क्लास में एक आदमी होता ही था ना,
Ah,
एक बच्चा जो पूरे टाइम लड़ेगा और उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, उसको कोई एग्जाम की भी परवाह नहीं है, उसका वो है. सो वो सारे सीन्स जहाँ ये बाप से अपने बात कर रहा है और बोल रहा है कि भाई सब तो ऐसे ही है, लाइक ही इज जस्ट नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन
anything. Yeah.
एनीथिंग. Yeah, so those kind of things, all these nuances I got from there. And the other, and it's I'm very thankful to the directors like Ram Madhwani and Sandeep Modi and all who have just let actors do their part. That वो होता नहीं है कि playground में छोड़ दिया बच्चे को खेलने के लिए and now they're doing their
Mm-hmm.
bit. So it was like that kind of freedom. So everything seems natural. It was because they were so honest in finding the
Mm-hmm.
truth. If you see every character in Arya, it kind of like someone or the other person will be able to relate to that particular moment or the actor or something, and that's because they've just shot it very truthfully. कहीं भी ऐसा नहीं लगेगा कि यार ये एक्टिंग करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये गुस्सा फालतू में कर रहा है, ये फालतू में रो रहा है, ऐसा कुछ हुआ ही नहीं.
So it was like, like while when I watched Arya, okay, so Sangram Singh turned out like it appeared that he was the bad guy, but like as you mentioned, that all he did was to, rise above the level, and like even like at this one particular time, you led Arya to the wrong path, and you just made her, hassle here and there. So, like, did you compare it to your own life at one point of time? Like, oh, if I was in that particular position where I have to, take care of some or the other thing, how would I do it? Like, did you go through that particular phase?
Honestly, no, because what happened was a project before this, which was
Yeah.
Haseena Parker. I had taken that character
Oh,
really like that. That so like I don't know if you've seen Haseena Parker, but in Haseena Parker, I die at a certain point where I'm shot, and the
yeah.
real guy was also shot. And at that point, the director suggested that I could do this thing or that thing and all. And that point, I started thinking that what if I lose my wife or my child or my father or this? And my mother was sick at that point of time, and kind of I went like overboard in terms of acting, and like using my natural and my own personal experiences in life. And I actually kind of like it took me a while to come out from that experience after I finished filming. And it
Yeah.
was, and then I researched and I learned and I met my coach and all, and I figured that that's not the correct way to do and play
Hmm.
characters, because there are a lot of I have played very different characters in every movie that I've done,
Every movie
right?
that you've seen. Yeah.
So I can't keep using, and kind of like it's somewhere deep down it kind of like hurts
Yeah.
that, okay, what if you lose? And you start imagining those scenarios. Like in Arya, I imagined all. I actually created a fiction around in my mind that okay,
Okay.
this is kind of like the bubble that I am in. I actually
Yeah.
thought that Sushmita Sen is my sister. This guy is
Mm.
my father, and this is how I have to react. But I actually the good part, I think it's a very interesting question that you have asked. The good part was that I've literally cut down from my family when I was there on the set,
Oh, that is what.
unknowingly. So
Mm.
basically, these characters they became my life at that point of time.
Yeah.
And 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 again, thanks to these people because they also the makers because they also made it like a family setup. Everybody was staying together, and all these smaller nuances in filming also really helps. These are props to an actor, right? So in the jail
Mm.
uh, everything seemed like jail. I was like when I was beaten up and the bruises were there, it felt like real. That's how the angst when I'm meeting a ACP. And the trivial part for me was I was doing all my scenes in jail, majority of them.
Yeah,
So I'm
most of the
acting
time.
differently with everyone. When
Yeah.
ACP Khan comes, I
Mm.
have to act in a certain way that I'm not gonna be broken by you. I'm not gonna spit out
Yeah.
anything. So
Mm.
that is totally different. With the sister, he's totally trying to get the information. So it's exactly
Yeah.
opposite. One side
Mm.
you're trying to hide the information, the other side you're trying to
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
information, and you have no clue what's going on outside. Like your father is also kind of like thinking that you are the one who's creating all the mess. Your sister is
Yeah.
also thinking that. ACP Khan is also thinking that. Whereas you have no clue what happened.
Yes. So, like with the pandemic going on and everything, what are your plans on going back on set? Like, when are you planning to go back and shoot for the movie or the web series?
See, I'm itching to go back on the set, but I'm also in no rush because I know a lot of people are not taking it that seriously. Also, the situation, and वो चल जाएगा और हो जाएगा वाला attitude
Like
में.
horror.
Then I know a lot of people who have
Mm.
suffered and who have lost their lives, also near and dear ones of people that I know. So I'm in no rush, to be honest. As long as it's a good project, it's a good setup, then I'll go
Yeah.
and shoot. But it's not like कि हाँ अभी जहाँ इतना टाइम रुके तो 2 महीने और सिचुएशन बेहतर होने के बाद कर लेंगे तो भी it's
Mm.
not. I'm not like really onto it. But having said that, I've started testing for stuff. I'm in talks for certain
Mm.
things. But I think everything is being taken very slowly these
Yeah,
days
like with
because of
the
the
sets
whole
and all,
situation.
like there are very few people
Yeah.
who are allowed on the sets, and I think it takes a lot of efforts to shoot a film, and you cannot do it with 10 people around you. Like you need like a lot of people. By
Yeah, and then if you are scared or if you're like if you have that inhibition in mind that oh मुझे होना जाए और ये वो तो that will also be there
yeah,
always कि अरे
fear and everything.
you know so obviously it's a difficult scenario but slowly and slowly people are starting to work. So but for me the another hurdle is to come to India is like because I've been here, the flights are not working now, they've just started, so there is so many people waiting to go back to India that it's like the flights are not fully operating. So I'm waiting so कि थोड़ा सा normally चलने लगे तो मैंने उसके
So
बाद फिर because in India also you have to quarantine
yeah,
for
yeah,
14
yeah,
days I think right now.
and like
Yeah.
now the ongoing debate that you are seeing around in Bollywood, that is your nepotism. What is your take on it? Like, what do you think about it?
See, I have a very bland take on it because so you can't deny that uh, it does
Yeah.
exist, but that it exists in every industry, in every stream of work. A little bit, a little, it's there, and you have to. But what I feel really disturbing is that people have just gone overboard with it because like how they call the netizens and Twitteratis and right
Mm.
now people are just completely bombarding one side like they're just not being kind. I
Yeah.
feel like in that sense like for example like they talk about star kids and nepotism. There are a lot of people who are from the film family who have seen their parents do the stream of work and they've learned from them and they have given a good amount of years in learning making like be it physical the look of it or the training involved in like fight or dance or all these things, so there's a lot of effort and work they've put into it. and
Yeah.
that's why they're successful. And there are a
Hmm.
lot of people who are not successful from the industry. So obviously they get an edge where they can get a meeting easily. They
Yeah.
can, their father or mother can call that so and so. But that happens in every industry. If I know you personally, I would definitely call you for my son or my daughter that please, she or he is looking for a job in this industry. Can you please guide? And that, that will get you a meeting. But apart from that, I think, I mean, I'm not from the industry, so it might
Yeah.
have taken me a little longer time,
Hmm.
because I have to prove at every scale, at every point in time. I mean, Arya wouldn't happen. The first gig, if Arya would have happened as my first project, my life would be totally different. I wouldn't have put in 8, 9 years into it. uh, because now I'm getting bigger projects and better roles. But when I did Zanjeer, it took me 2 years to get Zanjeer, and after Zanjeer, it took me 3 years, 2.5 years to get Sarabjit, and again 2 years to get Haseena Parker. So for an outsider, it becomes even more difficult because
Hmm.
nobody. First of all, there are so many people, nobody wants to meet you,
Yeah.
nobody wants to see you. Then you
Hmm.
get that meeting, and then you see, and then there is thousands of people competing for that particular part. So they definitely have an upper hand on the edge to get inside the door. But after that, but yeah, bashing them completely is like, which it's ridiculous how people have been behaving online these days.
Like people are going on trolling all these star kids
Yeah,
and
so they are no different than the people who are promoting nepotism. I mean,
yeah.
you're doing the same thing.
Hmm.
And honestly, my opinion to that is, I mean, there are so many newcomers from who are outside from the industry. You see
Hmm.
when their movies come out, how much these netizens are going to watch it. If my movie tomorrow comes out as a solo lead, I
Hmm.
don't think they're going to go watch out just because, oh, I'm not from the industry, let's support him.
Okay.
But whereas a big star kid, big budget film will come out, they'll go. And right now they're saying it's nepotism. So it's kind of like, you're bashing for no reason. I mean, I think personally everybody should look before they type or write something online, because it it's just time pass for someone, but it can actually hurt someone's and like really deeply and badly. I mean, you can't disregard their credits just because, oh, the trend is going on, that no, we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, yeah. So
Like
it's
people just
it's all
follow the trend. Yeah.
it's just a herd mentality. It's just following the trend. I
Hmm.
mean, I really, uh, when I say, okay, there are people who probably have not gotten the chance because of this nepotism, or because
Yeah.
someone called in for someone and a less deserving kid got the chance. And I understand the sentiment, and it has happened to me, and I'm sure it has happened to so many people. But that doesn't mean I would bash the entire stream of people who are coming from. They have their rights. I mean, I'm no one to disregard the amount of time they're giving in the gym or the acting class or the dance class or something. I have not done that. Maybe at some point of time I'm doing it now. So having said that, I just think people should be more kind and sensible when writing stuff online, because you're doing the same thing as the other person.
You're just being the part of the
It's a herd mentality, exactly. Like, tomorrow I'll say I love Shah Rukh Khan, the Salman Khan fans will start bashing. I'll say the other thing. That's why a lot of people, I think, these days choose to keep
yeah.
quiet. So when you're quiet also, then they start bashing you on that also, that you have not
Hmm.
said anything. So it's just like, it's like a lost proposition from every
Yeah.
angle.
So, like now that everything will settle, I really hope that everything settles down after a while, like with the pandemic. And I definitely hope the nepotism debate and the bashing just stops, because every time you go on the news, you see one or the other person, talking about this nepotism debate or the insider versus outsider debate. So now, Ankur, what?
See, they're talking because it happens, but
Yeah,
the people who are talking about it has no clue about how the industry works. It's
exactly.
just that, oh, they read at some
Yeah,
blog or they read at some place, and that's why. Same thing going on with every news these days. Is like every morning I get a news. I have
yeah.
stopped reading the
The
news
negativity,
for
yeah.
a little while now. But yeah, from the relatives or from my dad or something, I'll get a
Hmm.
piece of news which will be shocking, and then I'll go research online, and there will be no
Oh,
news like that. So then it will be like, वो जो पता लोक में हुआ है कि हाँ WhatsApp पे
what's
पढ़ो.
up? Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So now, Ankur, like,
It's like everybody's a news creator these days.
it's just about having a phone and an internet connection, and you can just do, like, create fake news and spread it like fire. Like,
Yeah.
how WhatsApp works. And even the fact that, people don't fact check it. Like, they don't even see that is it true or is it not. And then they start bashing those people.
Yeah, but to be honest, how do you fact check? I am a very educated man. I'm
Hmm.
very experienced. I don't know how to fact check anymore because there are reliable sources of the reliable websites that are also giving like wrong news.
Wrong.
And and it's very competitive amongst news agencies also. Who's gonna get the breaking news now?
The
So it's
TRP
like
factor.
so
Yeah.
there is no breaking news anymore. It's every news is breaking news for every thing. So it's like just from every angle is the news is being broken to you. So it's like how will you fact check?
Yes. So, like, now that, like, what are your future plans, Ankur? Like, what movies are you, like, what movies have you signed up for, or the web series that you're looking forward to work?
See, the most exciting project that I've signed on is Aarya 2, which will start in, I think, February first week. So that I'm really looking forward to getting back
Hmm.
on that set. Then my project that I finished before the lockdown happened, it's another project with the Boots Select. It's a web series
Okay.
that's going to come out next month. So that is there.
Okay.
And now I've started to talk about other projects. So hopefully something will soon pan out and there. But I have a lot of films that are in the pipeline that are about to release. So I'm looking forward to those. I've done 3 films after Haseena Parker that have not released. So one of them is
Oh,
about to release. So it's called
okay.
Bhavai. And it has Rajesh Sharma and it's an ensemble cast. It's a comedy film. So I'm looking forward to that
Oh.
also. Yeah. I just
So,
want
like,
people to see more and more of me this year.
Ankur, what is your, what is your preference? Like, you have done both movies and a web series. Like, which one would you rather, be inclined towards? Like, okay, I might just pick web series over a movie, or a movie over a web series.
See, I think both have their equal plus points. I've always shot of like films. So so those are always there. They're very bigger. They get a release in the
Mhm.
theater, and you enjoy the theater experience in that. But with OTT platform, it's 9 hours, 8 hours, episodes. So there is much bigger career character graphs
Yeah.
in the series. So you have much more to do. Even the smaller parts get a good amount of screen time. So I mean, I really enjoy doing these 2 web series that I've done. So I'm open to both there, as long as I'm facing the camera, and it's exciting for me.
So that's it for the interview, Ankur. Thank you so much for giving us the
It
time.
was a
And
pleasure talking to you.
so, like, as I mentioned in the first part of the, like, video call, that you have to say a particular line. Would you just go ahead and do that?
Yeah, this is Ankur Bhatia, and you're watching me on DG Hunt, right?
Yeah, yeah, you have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Hi, this is Ankur Bhatia, and you're watching me on DG Hunt.
yeah. That's it. Yeah. Thank you so much
Okay.
for that. And I
Thank you. Yeah, it was lovely chatting with
oh,
you.
thank you so much. Hoping to see you, like, as you mentioned that the Wood Select series is about to release next
Yeah, I
month.
think it's gonna release around first, second week of
Oh,
September. I have a guest appearance in that, but it's a very good
so
part.
is it like, is
Uh,
it like, what kind of genre
yeah,
is it? Like, which part?
it's
Oh,
more
it's
action.
action.
It's
Yeah,
Apurva Lakia's
it's
series, so
action.
it's action. It has Saqib Salim and
Hmm.
Valusha and Iqbal and Shreya
Oh,
Pilgaonkar and
okay, okay.
Rajesh
So it's
Khalan.
a, like, a
Yeah,
bomb packed, like, the characters and
yeah, but it's full
yeah.
on
Okay,
action.
that's great.
Yeah.
So now that we are done with the interview.
And I play a villain in
Oh,
that, so it will be a different thing. So yeah, I play a
oh,
Pakistani army commander.
that now that you're giving away the whole.
Yeah, so I've done I all that's one thing. All the parts that I choose are very different, and it just happens that I'm excited. I just hope people get to see more and more of different things
Like,
that
yeah,
I do.
you have already picked some, like, characters which are different from each other? Like sometimes,
Yeah.
how does it feel like picking different characters? Do you like mentally prepare?
Yeah, it so happened that, after it, Sarabjit happened, it was a biopic. Then Haseena Parker happened, it was a biopic. Then, I got approached for a couple of things that were all husband roles. And I was like, no, this is not getting,
Okay.
this is just, it'll just die down. So I did three films that were all very different. One was comedy, one was very hardcore thriller, one was a horror, and they all didn't come out. And then, Aarya happened. So Aarya's Sangram was totally different than this. So I was telling someone this morning also that it's not me who's deciding. It's actually this is the way they're coming to me.
Hmm.
All I'm doing is accepting them, and I'm able to play them nicely. So, so I hope, yeah, it
That's
keeps
great.
getting bigger.
Like I'm like waiting to watch you on the action packed series that you're gonna release soon. So
Oh, thank you so much.
so yeah, that's it for the interview. Thank you so much again, Ankur,
Okay.
for coming.
Thank you so much for your time, yeah. And I hope you stay safe
Yeah,
and
please,
your
please,
family is
and
safe and
stay
all.
safe and stay sanitized. That is what I should say.
Yes. And hopefully I'll see you someday.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ankur.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
You too. People, can you hear me?